I've sent Mark to bed so that I can vlog, because he's in here watching telly and I can't vlog. And I said to him, I'm going to go through to your room and make a vlog. And he went, well, I could go to bed. And I went, okay, then off you go. So he's just getting ready to go. The pussycat here waiting for her ritual, her nightly ritual. I don't know whether he'll do it. She gets a few treats, and then these well, you can't see them. These doors get closed, these double doors, so she can't come up and howl outside the bedroom door, which she would do. So she gets shut out. I think we get a bit kinder in winter. I can't remember what we do in winter. What do we do in winter with her? Do we allow her to stay through here in the warm?
No.
No, we shut her out. We're still cruel. Okay, bye. See you later.
Are you talking to me now or vlogging?
Well, I'm doing both, really.
Oh, I see.
So the dog is not ours and won't be ours. And the people that have said, oh, you know, I bet you'd like that dog and I bet you'd like to have that dog. No way. I'd rather have a baby. I'd rather have a baby than a dog. I'm not massively into dogs. And she was so cute. And of course, other people's dogs are much easier to handle because you know that you're not going to have them for long. Very cute. I think she's a setter. I don't think she's a spaniel. I think she's a setter, and I think the reason her coat looks like that is because that's the colour she's born with. And I remember from Joe's dog, who's got a lot of setter in him, he's half setter, half something else, that a lot of the white starts to disappear. So all of that colouring over her body will look less dramatic as she gets older. But it was very typical, in my opinion, of a French attitude to a dog. He drove in we knew he was coming because he was coming to sort Mark's door out that's not been secure for a long time. And also give us the proper key for the shutters at the front. Sorry. Sorry if I'm making you yawn. So he came in through the gates in his van and opened up. Out she jumped. And so it was all like, oh my God, she's so cute. La la la. So after a minute or so, I said, shall I go and close the gates? And he went, oh yeah. And I went, okay. So I went down to close the gates, nearly lost her because she came down there with me. But he hadn't thought of that. He'd not thought of putting in, making sure all the boundaries were closed. Hadn't checked with us it was okay for her to run around the garden, run in and out of the house or any of that. Just very typical, in my opinion, of how the French attitude to dogs is very different to the British attitude to dogs. So he was here for probably about half an hour, 40 minutes. That was enough. It was lovely. Really enjoyed meeting her and having a stroke, although she didn't stand still. Mark managed to, well, you saw, he managed to have a hold, but I couldn't, every time I tried to have a stroke, she was just trying to bite me. So I did, this morning, I started off I haven't done sourdough for 2 days, and even though I'd frozen bread, we're going through it, and I need to give half a loaf to Joe tomorrow when we go over. So I started again this morning, the beginning of the next loaf, and that about an hour ago has gone into the fridge in the proving basket, and I'll cook it in the morning. The last one I made was fine. It rose relatively well, but it had been really difficult to handle. And as I slid it onto the baking stone, before it could start rising in the oven, part of it started to slip over the edge. So I had a bit of a bent loaf, but it was fine. It was really nice. So my plan for this one that's in the proving basket overnight is I will bake it in the casserole pot because that holds it. And I know that this is, it's just, it will be very loose, and that makes a really nice bread, but it needs to be in the casserole pot so it holds it in shape. I think that I need to be a bit more skilled before I can put them straight onto the stone. So I did that, and that's, I've done that on and off all day. Um, I made my plan was to make spicy bean burgers, and then I discovered quite early on I hadn't got any kidney beans. I'd got haricot blanc, and I was sort of shooting around, bombing around, something around on YouTube, rooting around on YouTube for burger recipes, and I came across Jamie Oliver, who I used to like and have gone off really, but he was using peas and sweet corn, and I've got both of those, but it made me think actually I've got broad beans in the freezer, so I did broad beans and haricot blanc, and added some oats, which I'd seen another woman using, and some Cajun spice, and um, onions and garlic, and can't remember what else. Oh, paprika, to try and darken it because it's going to be really pale. And I mixed up a very small amount of Marmite in water, and realised about 2 hours later that I'd left that out. So that didn't go in. I thought that would darken it. But actually they were really nice, really tasty. And we had them with broccoli, and I made Hasselback potatoes in the microwave, the air fryer. It's only 10:15. So that was nice. It felt really healthy. I'd forgotten I'd got the broccoli, and I realised yesterday I was watching something and somebody was eating broccoli, and I was thinking, oh, I've got broccoli. I love broccoli. So I reminded myself that I would cook it today, and it was, I really enjoyed that. We went to art this afternoon. We delivered the Mac there to be handed on to someone else. So the Mac's gone there. 3 QWERTY keyboards and a mouse and an English plug. So I'm sure they'll get on with it. I mean, we have to adapt, don't we? I'm having to adapt. I'm still using the AZERTY keyboard. I'm getting used to it quite a bit, really. It's just really odd, the numbers not being the default. And sometimes it's quite handy to have the accents that are on here, if I'm writing something in French. So, yeah, it was quite crowded at art. We've got, who have we got? There's 2 new women. I'll say new women. They've been in it since the beginning of term. So there's 2 new women, and who was there? And Mark's extra in our group now. So that's 3 extra people, and it felt really crowded. And I wasn't happy with what I was doing. I was doing the, it was the Modigliani. I keep doing Modigliani's. I must do something else. I was looking earlier. I'm going to show you the one I did last time. I don't know whether I've shown it here yet. So this is the one I did a week or so ago. And I really enjoy blending skin colours. So the one I'm doing now is a nude. I thought then I'd get some skin. I started that last week, and as soon as I chose my picture, my fellow student next to me started pointing at the pubic hair and going, oh, you like that, don't you? You like that? And I'm thinking, oh, for fuck's sake. It really irritated me because it's really weird here. There's it sounds like I'm down on the French at the moment. There's a very different attitude towards sex, nakedness, and there's a sort of a humour that it's still the sort of humour that you might have found. I can only describe it as Kiss Me Quick humour, or Benny Hill humour. So humour that was around for me in when I lived in, when I was in the UK, in that culture was around in the 50s and 60s, 40s, 50s and 60s, and that seems to be how it is here. So it's something that I don't really have any dealings with it. It just is. But this particular, I get I start to think I'll do that one, and then I get that, and I can't explain to her why I'm irritated by her doing what she's doing. But that's by the by. Which it's really odd though, because there's a completely different attitude to when you're being examined medically, or you're going to the doctors, or you're going and having, say, a mammogram or something. Is in the UK, and I believe in the US, you're given things to cover yourself with. Can't remember the name that I want to say, but you're sort of given an opportunity to cover yourself, whereas here there isn't the worry about nakedness in front of a doctor or somebody examining you. There's a different attitude to it, and yet there's still this very childlike humor or childlike attitude toward and jokes about nudity and sex and penises and vaginas and all of that. It's just odd, really odd. So yeah, so anyway, I finished it actually. So that one I've just shown you has been, Cleo's made it's called a passepartout around it. I need to buy a frame for it, but I just got loads of them. It's like, there's one sitting down on the ground over there, that was behind me, and I pushed my chair back one day and it came off the wall. So that's on the down. We've reframed it, but I don't want to put it behind me, because if I bend down, I'll drop something on the floor, and push the chair back, it goes. So yeah, so that one I need a frame for, and she's got the other one there now that I finished today. That's going to be, she'll put a passepartout on it, and then I need to find a frame that, and I don't. It's like there's going to be a room full of paintings, because we're both painting. He's doing Sycamore Gap, where that tree was cut down by some stupid person. Very historic, very historic site near Hadrian's Wall. Of this, photographed by so many people. It's sort of, and some nerd twat idiot comes and saws it down. It's an old sycamore tree that's been standing in this gap for years. So Mark's painting that. So it felt very crowded there. And that ain't going to change. In fact, Christelle wasn't there. She only comes every other week, so that isn't going to change. It's always going to feel like that. I think it's better for Cleo. I think she's more stimulated because she's got some juggling to do to keep everybody occupied and answering questions and helping people. And I think from the months of the last term, it was very empty. There were people missing, and I don't think it was very rewarding for her to be teaching half a class. So I think this is working for her. She feels to me, or seems to me, like she's more stimulated and enjoying her job, which is good, because she's going to retire next year, which is sad. So that's it. So I better go to bed. I've done the cat. I took the opportunity whilst I paused you, because she was heading after me over there to go to bed. So I thought, so I gave her some treats, sorted myself out, came and then let her out the front door, because that's another part. She has to be let out one of the doors that you've just locked. So tomorrow is moving day for Jo. I'm so relieved. She's so tired. This is the first time that she's moved on her own. She's being moved. It's a removal company that are doing the actual moving, but she always has had help. When she moved where she's going back to, when she moved there was a whole group of us that helped, and then she was with her partner when they moved from there to the house that she's moving from now. And I just feel so sad. I feel really sorry for her that she's on her own, but there ain't any choice. Um, that's the way it is. And I think when she gets herself sorted and when it's over, I think she'll look back and be really proud of herself for having done it. She unplumbed the washing machine today and didn't get wet. Has defrosted the fridge. She's going to unplumb the dishwasher tomorrow. So she's all got it under control. She's very organised, Joe. So I know that she's got it under control, but I know that she'll also be really relieved when the removal people leave tomorrow and she's just there having to sort it. She's got no dogs this weekend there with the dog sitter. She's got her cat who's quite old now. I can't remember how old Alfie is. He's quite an old cat. She'll have him with her. And we're all going to go pick her up tomorrow. We're going to go over tomorrow. We've got her old chest freezer to take back. And we're going to go out for a meal to Leluculus where we ate last week and had to leave because dessert was too slow. The food in there is so nice. The difficulty in service wouldn't put me off going in there. I only think tomorrow though, because they have two restaurants. They've got a gourmet restaurant and then they've got the daily sort of brasserie. And I'm hopeful that the brasserie will be open in the evening. But if it isn't, I'll have to go into the gourmet restaurant, which actually is lovely, but our experience is the food in the brasserie has been better. I'm sure it's the same chef, but that fish we had last week, it was haddock in batter, just like a UK fish and chip, a good fish and chip restaurant fish. And I keep thinking, oh, that's really nice. It's tempting me to go to the market on Saturday to go to Chauvigny and buy some haddock, but I don't have a deep fryer. I don't use a deep fryer, so you can't do proper battered haddock in an air fryer. At least I don't think you can. You've got tomorrow to be able, you've got today because you'll get this tomorrow, Friday. Yeah, let me know if you think I can do a battered haddock in an air fryer, and then I'll go on Saturday to Chauvigny Market. And what's Saturday going to be like? I think the weather's going to be a lot cooler, but I don't think it's going to be raining. I might not go if it's raining, but I might go. I haven't had fish for a few days. I love fish. Okay, so I'm going to bed now. I'm reading a bit of reading, and that's it. So thanks as always for your support. I'll wear it always. I don't think there's any questions to answer. Or somebody, I know I've already answered that. Somebody saying, oh, I bet you'd like a dog. And I'm thinking, no, I wouldn't. I'd prefer to have a baby, thank you. I'd even get pregnant, carry the baby and give birth to it. That's how, I love babies. And I would love to, I know that I am far too old and tired and unwell to take care of a baby. But I loved being pregnant and I loved giving birth and I loved feeding my babies. So, yeah, I'd much prefer that to dogs. I think the thing for me is that dogs are always dependent. They're always dependent. They never go beyond adolescence. And I often joke with Joe, which is a bit mean, really. I thought, well, never mind. One day they'll grow up and leave home, and I go, oh, wait, they won't. Whereas, when you have kids, you grow them up, and off they go. They're independent. No, I can't. I'm not very good at having anything dependent on me. So anyway, okay. Hope you have a good day wherever you are, and I'll see you next time.